So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try, but I'm not sure how it's gonna work. You can see how thin my project is here. You can also see that there's a little bit of a discoloration up here. This is where it's kind of oversaturated with water. I don't know if the glaze is gonna stick to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. If I was really doing this, for a project that I really cared about, what I'd probably do is I would go ahead and let that dry out overnight and then glaze it the next day. But I don't have that kind of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now just to kind of see. I've got my black. This is called jet black, all right, this color here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up. Again, make sure your tools are clean when you try it in a different color. This is the same mixing stick I used just a minute ago for the lipstick purple, all right? But in this case, I'm using it for the jet black. Now, if I were to mix the jet black and then go over to a celadon green, a white, or the lipstick purple for that matter, I'm gonna contaminate that glaze and it's gonna end up messing it all up. And therefore, we're not gonna have a consistent color. So we wanna make sure that our tools are always clean as we start using them in a different color. And so make sure that the picture, if you're gonna do the inside a different color of another project or something like that, make sure you rinse it out and everything comes off with water. Just to reiterate, none of this stuff is toxic at all. There's no lead in anything, so all of this is going to be dishwasher safe, microwave safe. Eat out of it, drink out of it. I've got bowls that I have used to, as water dishes for my dogs. So you can use these quite a bit. I use these for bowls for cereal and food all the time. And like I said, you can put them in the microwave and it'll look great. Again, I'm going to go ahead and test that. All right. Can see my fingernail, but I don't see the color of my fingernail, so that's probably pretty good. All right, now I've got a couple of things that I have to realize with my project that I'm gonna go ahead and glaze that's a little bit more difficult. If I had a project that was, that had a foot on it, all right, I'd have something to grip onto. The problem is that I'm gonna have to hold it like this, and anywhere that my fingers are touching, the glaze is not going to stick to that, all right? So I do have this tool here. Okay, these are called dipping tongs. You can see that they've got these little pinchers on the end, okay? And that I can use to hold my product and therefore only touch in a couple of spots. Now, because the product is just straight on the sides, I've really got to put a lot of pressure on it to hold it in place. So I'm hoping this doesn't fall in, okay? And so I'm gonna go ahead and hold it with two hands like this. Now, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna dip this in upside down. When I do that, there's gonna be an air bubble that gets trapped inside of here that's gonna keep the glaze from glazing all of the inside. Now, obviously, because it rips up to here, it's going to glaze this part black, okay, and even up to that point on the inside, but at the very bottom, it should stay purple, all right? So let's go ahead and give this a try. So go ahead and put my dipping tongs, get a good grip. Go ahead and use two hands so that doesn't come off. Now, watch how quickly I do this. I hold it over my glaze, it's going in, and then I come out. So there is a bit of a pause, all right, but it's not very long. It's about a half a beat, and therefore that way it doesn't absorb too much water, especially near that top part. Now, I have to wait for this to dry in order for me to be able to touch it again. If I touch the top edge, these areas down here, where it's still wet, that glaze will most likely stick to my hand or it'll smear away. Now, at the bottom here where it's getting to be more of a chalky and I can see that it's absorbed into the clay a little bit more, it's actually dried out pretty quickly, okay? So then I'm gonna go ahead and remove my tool here. Again, you can still see the glossiness here on the top part, but I'm hoping on the inside you can see that the dark brown glaze that is the jet black did not cover the inside of that. So the inside of that should be purple when we fire it, okay? And then the rest of it should be black. I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit and then we'll do some final touches before we take this outside and get it ready to be fired.